Learning these charts in Excel gives you the ability to track absolutely anything. Let's get started. We're using a combination of line charts, columns, and bar charts. First, I'm going to type in my title. This is, let's call operational dashboard, and let's do a merge and center. And let's turn this dark gray, font color white, and let's increase the font size because it is our title, bold it, and let's put it on the left. Now I'm pasting my data in, but this is a perfect place for you to track data and enter the information as each month passes. Most of it's hard-coded, but if you want something like an on-time percentage, you could type in a formula that's on-time divided by total. Then you've got your percentage. Now let's select these columns and insert a chart. Pressing Alt F1 is a great chart shortcut. So I'm going to click on this title because this is not going to match what we need. We need it to specify more what the chart's about. So let's rename that. Then I'm going to go up to View because for a dashboard, I don't like grid lines. So I'm going to uncheck that. Then let's do the background to our chart by going up to Illustrations and Shape. Let's draw our shape in, a rounded rectangle, and let's do no outline, no fill. Now if you left the outline, you can see it more of a 3D image. There's lots of different options there, shadows, so go ahead and play with those. Now I'm going to go up here to Format because I need to make some changes to this chart. We want this to also be see-through, so we're going to do Shape Fill, no outline, no fill. So now when you move it on top of the shape, it looks like the shape is the entire chart. Now I'm doing this on mobile, so you'll notice that these are rather small, but if you were on a computer screen, you could make these whatever size you wish, so it's really easy to see. Speaking of, let me zoom in so we can see what we're doing here a lot better. Now let's specify the chart type. So I'm going to make this a line, and I want it to be 2 lines, so I selected that one. Now this top line is going to be our total. So this is our total of whatever it is that we have. Let's say it's appointments, and I'm changing the color, and the line, let's change the color here to blue. And then let's click on the other line. The other line is our on-time count. So I want this one to be a different color. You can go here, marker options, built in, change the size of that marker. That's the big dot on the chart. Let's change it to black, and let's do no border on that. Otherwise, your circles will have a line around them. So right-click, add data labels, right-click to format data labels, and let's move those below the line. So now if you go up to Home, Font, you can change this to bold. You could insert anything you want here, decrease, increase the size. Looks good. So now I need to move this over a little bit. You do need to shift things around quite a bit when you're creating a dashboard. Now, as you can see, this is quite small, as I said, because I'm on mobile. So if you wanted to adjust the font, you can further reduce it, or just for the point of instruction, you know that you can move it around and resize. Next, I want to do month by completed to total. So you just select those and repeat the exact same steps, but I'm going to skip that for the video so it's not 45 minutes long. And so let's do our next chart. So now our next chart below this one is going to be the on-time percentage compared to our goal. So now same thing, double click in here and type over this title. Make sure that these are really clear so that when someone is looking at your dashboard, they know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to go back up to the top, format, and repeat the same steps. This is very similar to the previous for a lot of the formatting. Now I can copy by hitting Control-C and Control-V that shape above. This works really well, so all your shapes are the same size, but again, we have a lot of moving around and resizing to do anyway, but if you didn't, that's a really handy trick. So now what I want to do is change the chart type here so that it's a column on top and the goal is a line. Hit OK, and to click that, right click and format. Now what we're going to do here is go back to marker, and instead of circles this time, we're going to do built in, but it's going to be a dash. Change this to something that makes sense, maybe 15, and let's change the color. Click on the column. Actually, let's go back here, no line. Make sure you remove that line, and then you only have the markers left. Now I'm going to change the gap width down to something like 30%. The lower the gap width, the wider the bars. Let's go a little bit higher so they're a little bit thinner. and change the color here. Now I'm going to right click, add data labels, and click on those, and you can move these again. Before we moved them below, but now we're going to do inside base. Text options, you can change that to white so that they're easier to see. And again, on a computer screen, this looks great, but mobile, it's a little bit shrunk. So let's go here to font, and this is again where you can increase, decrease the size, and bold them. Now we've got our chart. Let's resize this down, and just like the previous chart, you're going to repeat the exact same steps, except the next time you might want to do completed compared to goal for the right. So the lower right chart is going to be that. Now I'm just going to go back in here to marker and change this down a bit because now that I shrunk the chart, it's a little bit jammed up. So repeat those steps and make sure you have the information for completed and completed to goal. I've pasted them in from my previous version so that they're done. Now this last one is going to be a bar chart. So if you're tracking something like Employee Net Promoter Score, or ENPS, you're only going to have it a couple times a year. So what we're going to do is select all the months, select our column here, and insert a 2D bar chart. So as you can see, you only have 2 bars. And then we're going to copy paste the shape and resize this. Now when you're done with all of these, you're going to need to resize them, move them to what makes sense, so it looks more like it did in the very beginning of this video. And right click here and bring to front. You can change the layers on these in case your shape covers over your chart. So same thing, shape outline, no fill. You want it to be see-through. And then let's move this around here and start to get it in place. Now let's move this whole thing up so they're a little bit more in line. Looking good. Now let's right click, format these, and we'll change the color eventually here. But let's do the gap width real quick first. Again, somewhere around 30. And then this is where you can change the fill color. And let's right click, add data labels, and again, right click, format, so that you can center these. So we'll try a bunch of different options here between all the different charts. And then you can click on this, and you need to change the font to whatever makes sense for the size of your bar. And as you resize these, you might be able to adjust that font larger. Now another neat trick I really like is being able to change the axis. So click on the axis and you can change this so that it's a much smaller range, so it's not 0 to 100, but it's whatever your numbers are at. Close that out. Now spend some time rearranging your charts and resizing, and you're all set. There's your dashboard.